All right, so let's talk about what incentives are. So what is an incentive? Basically, an incentive can be defined as benefits offered to encourage people to act in certain ways. Mostly it's benefits that are offered to encourage people to act in different ways. Basically, you're trying to make someone to change the way they would regularly act. For example, this donkey, probably given a choice, would not carry a wagon full of hay around. All things being equal, the donkey would probably just sit. Right? Or just, I'm not going to carry this hay around, I'm not stupid. But when you put a carrot in front of the donkey, suddenly the donkey's behavior changes. It has an incentive to try to get the carrot. And hopefully the guy at the end gives it to him, otherwise that would just be mean. All right, so that is an incentive. The phone example is an incentive. They're trying to get you to change your behavior. We have all kinds of incentives at Cristo Rey.
Do we really?
Oh, we do. We have our 4.0 options, our 3.5 options. These are all incentives. And we have some disincentives too. Dis is basically means not. So the disincentive we would have would be our 9th period, Sábado Gigante, summer school. Those are disincentives. Both of those are basically trying to change your behavior. Okay? All right. So my incentive for homework, my incentive for getting you to class on time is what? 4.0 to do now. That's an incentive. Okay? My incentive for getting homework in on time is it is graded as a a standard. It's graded as a standard. Those are incentives. Does that make sense? There are two types, monetary and non-monetary. Just write down that there are two types of incentives for now, monetary and non-monetary. So make sure you get those down on your paper. And in a moment, we'll explain what monetary and non-monetary incentives are. Like right now. All right. Monetary incentives is pretty simple. Money is offered, or something very close to money is offered. Usually means that money's offered or something close to money. What I mean by that is, if I offer a cookie for my son to make the bed, it's still basically a monetary incentive. To that kid, that's pretty much like as good as money.
So like bribe?
Yeah, almost like bribery is the way you can think about it. It's almost like bribery. It is money offered to change your behavior. Monetary. Monetary means money or having value as in money. Monetary value is how we use it. Like if I offered someone gold, that would still be a monetary incentive. Why? It has money value. It really has money value. You could get that pretty quick. You can go to money-changing places and get money for it. All right. An example, buy $50 in groceries and get $5 off your next purchase of groceries. Maybe I wouldn't have gone to that grocery store. Maybe I would have driven somewhere else. But now that I'm going to get $5 off, I buy $50 in groceries. All right, I'll change my behavior. I'm going to go to the other grocery store. So we act with incentives all the time. There are some monetary incentives. Some are very effective, some are not. So money, bonus, commission can sometimes be a monetary incentive. Like if you're working at a factory and they pay you, let's say if you, what do you make it? We'll just call them widgets. What's a widget? I don't know. Something you can make. So you're making widgets. And if you make 100 widgets, you get a $5 bonus. So maybe you used to make 70 widgets an hour, now you make 100 widgets an hour. And you get a $5 bonus every hour. That's a monetary incentive. This could also be, a lot of times we can see this in, professional sport contracts often have these. There might be a clause in the contract that says if you lead the league in goals, you get an extra $1 million.
Not for Roy Rice.
Not going there. All right. So there are incentives all the time, like basketball. You make the all-star team, you get $500,000. So these are monetary incentives. Let's keep going. All right, let's look at this one here. And we'll have to do something on your worksheet here. So how about this incentive? Lease a 2015 Mustang for only $200 a month, plus get $800 bonus cash, enough to cover payments until December of, let's say 2015 to make that larger. 2015. 2014 is not long enough. That's only a couple months. All right. Would this deal persuade you to lease a Mustang?
Yeah.
Take a look at it. So there's the Mustang, the 2015 Mustang, pretty nice. Slightly cooler than my Mazda 5 I drive. Okay, anyway, no sliding doors in that car. All right, so $200 a month, and you get $800 bonus cash, and you don't even have to make payments, we'll say, until December of 2015. So you're not making payments for a year, but then you're going to lease it. Would this persuade you to lease a Mustang? Yes?
When they say bonus, that you're offering that to you?
Yes.
So
Help you make your
basically
payments
just
pretty
takes
much.
like 4 payments out.
Yeah, I know. I'm just basically saying they're offering you a whole bunch of stuff here to make your payments so you'll get a Mustang. Would this persuade you to lease a Mustang? And leasing means, by the way, when you're done paying for it for about 5 years, you have to give it back. So you can drive it for 5 years, but then you got to give it back and it's not yours. Would this persuade you to get the Mustang? Let's go with Brian in the back. What are you thinking? Picked on you twice today. I don't know why.
Yeah.
That's not, why? Why would this persuade you to buy, not buy, sorry, lease a 2015 Mustang?
Because the Mustang.
It's a Mustang, so you're probably already convinced there. Let's go, Jackie. What are you thinking? You may stand up.
No.
Why not?
Because I'm only leasing it, like, I don't know. What is lease?
Lease means you got to give it back after your contract's done. So it's a 5-year lease. 5-year lease. Diego,
I would buy it.
you'd buy it outright?
Yep.
Why?
Because it's a 5 year, after the 5 years, probably gonna get old, there's really new models out there. And it's $200 a month, which is not that bad of a deal for
Okay.
a monthly payment for a car.
Well, this would just be an example of an incentive. So car manufacturers want you to do this all the time. Sometimes they'll delay payments. That's an incentive. You don't have to pay for a while. That would be a monetary incentive. Does that make sense? A real good one that companies are good at doing, instead of just giving you the money off, they'll say mail-in rebate.
What does that mean?
How does that work? You literally have to take the mail-in rebate, put it in the mail, and then they'll send you a check will come back. Then you got to go to the bank and cash that check. Why do a lot of companies like mail-in rebate incentives?
Because I still get
But
paid.
not a lot of
Go ahead.
people know.
People forget about it.
People forget about it all the time, and what'll happen is you end up just, if you don't cash that check, they never have to give you that money back. So that's another incentive. So these are all kinds of monetary incentives. Let's go to our next one, and this would be non-monetary incentives. And again, we're thinking the word monetary, think having to do with money, having value with money, or it could be exchanged easily for money. Sometimes the gray area between these. A non-monetary incentive is pretty much an incentive that is other than money. And should take out eligibility list. That's the Loyola list. So if you get good grades, you're on the Loyola list.
Yeah, seen that word freshman year.
I know.
What word? Eligibility.
So if you get good grades, you get on to be on the Loyola list. That would be an example. Many schools have honor rolls. You're on the A honor roll, you're on the B honor roll. Those would be examples of a non-monetary incentive. Student of the session is a non-monetary incentive. You don't get any money for that. Corporate work study, employee of the session, another non-monetary incentive. These are some non-monetary incentives we see at school. And actually, as we go through this, we'll find out, believe it or not, non-monetary incentives are often more effective. Does not seem like it at first, but non-monetary incentives are often more effective. Other non-monetary incentives, if we think of the workplace, often they have the promise of opportunity. There's the promise of opportunity goes with non-monetary incentives. What I mean by that, opportunities can include things like time off, like leave, like you could have time off for a while. That's really beneficial, especially if you have kids. Flexible work schedule is a non-monetary incentive. Changes in the work environment. Maybe being able to work at multiple locations, being able to move to a new location, working with the same company. That's a non-monetary incentive. Go ahead.
And can it be like scholarships if you get good grades for
Scholarships for good grades would be more of a monetary incentive. It has a money value to it. So good question. That's a good question. Let's see, enjoyable job duties, getting a job that you like to do. Well, no, for me, I mean, my reason for being a teacher, which incentive is it probably? Probably a non-monetary incentive. Most people who go to 4 years of college make more than teachers. People who want to be teachers have to have a bit of a non-monetary incentive to do their job. So, non-monetary incentives are often much more effective. Who do you think is better, the person who plays basketball because they love to play basketball, or the person who wants to play basketball and get paid?
The person who loves it.
The person who loves it does better. I'm just going to give you this advice when you go out to try to find a career. Do what you love, the money usually follows. The reason why is because if you do what you love, you get good at it, and you're willing to put a whole lot of time in on it because it doesn't feel like work. Like I come in, I come in, I do very long hours. Mr. Dale does very long hours. A lot of people in this building. Ms. McCann puts in crazy hours right now. A lot of people put in very long hours at this job. Let me use Ms. McCann. I'm going to use her as an example. You guys know she has a master's from Harvard, right? Okay, master's degree from
Why is she here?
because of you.
Oh, I feel special.
No, plain and simple. She's here because of you. I'm just kind of cool she gets to work with me, but actually it's with you guys. That's why she's here.
Where's Harvard?
Mr. Barron across the Cambridge, Massachusetts. Mr. Barron across the hall has another master's degree from Harvard. As far as master's degree from Harvard go in pay scale, I guarantee you they're near the bottom. Why are they here? You guys. It's that simple. If it wasn't for you guys, we would not be here. That is a non-monetary incentive right there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I would say non-monetary incentives are more powerful. So, let's keep going.
What about people who have to resort to like
Shh, we got a question.
incentive, like children in like like the school to pipeline to jailhouse thing?
Yeah.
Like, because I feel like a lot of in the low income towns, all they can really look up to is hip hop, basketball, and like wanting to like get money.
Make it big.
Right.
Yeah.
So what if they have to like resort to that?
I would agree with you. The one thing you do have to, and this is tough. If you don't have money, one of the hardest things is the first thing. It's almost like you have to take care of your first need. But I would make an argument still, even for anyone, that they would really, really focus on what they love and work on that, they would still be better off. The reading you guys had for the 4.0 on why do drug dealers still live with their moms from Freakonomics is an awesome reading. You can still do it if you want. I'll let you do it for a while if you want. It's a great reading. Okay, that reading, what it said was these people who think they're going to go into drug dealing and make all this money. Did you guys read how much they actually make?
37. It's like 430.
It's like $3.30 an hour is what the average street drug dealer makes in Chicago. So they're doing it for money. Ironically, they're not making any money because by the time they have to take their money, pay it to higher up and everything, the people on the board of directors, and yes, gangs have boards of directors, by the time they have to do all that, there's not that much money for them. Now they're dreaming they're going to make it big, but most of them don't because it is about the most hazardous workplace you could ever have.
Strung out people on drugs.
Yeah, strung out people on drugs are trying to buy drugs from you. That would be a very difficult job. I don't think it's an easy way out. I actually think it's harder. From my personal opinion, I think it's harder. I think school's easier. Go ahead.
I don't think a lot of drug dealers are in gangs.
What's that?
I don't think like most drug dealers are in gangs.
The organized ones are. The organized ones that make it big mostly are. Yeah, I mean you can dispute that, but you can look at the numbers, and most of them are. And most of the drug gangs that are really big, they literally have like a board of directors. That's how it runs. They're incredibly organized. I do not. Basically, I think it's harder. I just do. I think it's harder, and I don't think it's a good option because it's harder. It's like you're trying to be a CEO of a company, and you could be shot. or arrested.